Husband set me up with a man who wouldn't let me go. I'll try not to drag this on. My husband and I have been together about 15 years. We have a good sex life, but it was starting to get a bit stale, so we had to talk about how to spice it up. We settled on a couple of threesomes, one with another woman and one with another man. He said I would pick the woman and he would pick the man. We agreed. He likes small, petite women, although I'm 5'8" and have big boobs. So I chose a small, dainty woman who he instantly loved. We had a great time and even arranged for her to come back the following Saturday. I had even arranged a surprise for this end of the month for him, with her and 2 of her friends to join us, so he would have 4 women to himself. This will become relevant later. Anyway, on to the guy he chose for me. He knows I'm not into bodybuilder types. He chose a 6'5", 20-stone giant of a man who had muscles on top of muscles. We started and it was great fun. My husband finished first and said he was going to get a drink and go have a smoke, so I said okay. And me and this guy carried on. After about 20 minutes he finished, and I realized my husband hadn't come back. I went downstairs and his car was gone. The big guy followed me downstairs and asked where my husband was. I said I didn't know. He grabbed me and said, "That means we can go again," and started trying to kiss me. I said no, the moment's gone. He literally picked me up and carried me upstairs. I was like a rag doll to him. I said no again when we got to the top of the stairs. He was laughing and telling me how much I loved it, and that he knew I wanted more. This carried on for about 5 minutes and I was scared. He was big and strong and I knew I couldn't fight him off. He said my husband promised him a night of sex and he'd only had an hour, so he wanted more. I said no and asked him to leave. He then said he'd leave, but only if I performed a certain act first. I said no. This conversation went back and forth for a few minutes. He started walking towards me, and I got scared and agreed to something if we could do it downstairs, and he left afterward. He said yes. Once he left, I tried calling my husband, but he wouldn't answer me. I rang his friends and family, but none of them answered. I sat up all night, scared, and eventually he came home at 6 a.m. I went off on him and told him what had happened and asked where he went. He said he got some post but clarity and left before he ruined anything. I said some choice words about him and how he left me alone with a man who could snap me like a twig. Then I told him what the man made me do before he left, and he just said, "Well, you'd already done everything with him. Why not just do it again?" I saw red and stormed out myself. Later on, when I spoke to him, he said, "Why am I allowed to get insecure, but he's not?" I asked, "When did I get insecure?" He said the first time Sabrina came round, I left for 20 minutes. I left to wash my hair and get some more drinks for us and even said, "You two carry on, I'll be back soon," and then joined back in once I came back. Plus, like I said, I'd done it again since and then told him what I'd arranged for the end of the month. It's been a week, and he still doesn't think he did anything wrong or left me in a dangerous position. I told him I want to ring the police, and he said that's stupid, you can't ring the police on a man when we specifically invited him round for sex. He thinks I'm overreacting. I think I'm underreacting. I feel like I want to leave him and report this guy, but I think I should give it some time to see if I calm down. Update, I still get messages from this now over a month later, and I want to say I really appreciate the support I get. It means a lot knowing so many strangers care. To answer a few questions from the original, threesomes were his idea. I suggested BDSM to spice things up. We had quite a few MFM threesomes with his friends in the first couple of years, which he never had a problem with or walked away from. After we had the 2 threesomes with Sabrina, I told him if he didn't want to have an MFM, I was fine with that, and was more than happy having regular ones with Sabrina. He said no, he wants an MFM. Another question I got was why was it okay to leave him alone with her, but not for him to leave me alone with the man. I left him alone for 10 minutes while I went to wash something out of my hair in our in-suit bathroom with a woman who is 4'11". He drove away from our house and left me alone for 8 hours to fend for myself against a man who was 7 inches taller than me, and I'd guess 10 stone heavier than me. Was he with Sabrina when he left me alone? No, he wasn't. He had no contact details for her. Did he plan to leave me alone, and was it a setup? I have no evidence of this, and it wasn't even something I thought of before I made my last post, but I honestly believe now it was a setup. I think he told the guy that I'd be up for a night of sex. Another thing that came to me a few days after my post as well was that the other guy said he had to be at work at 6 a.m. and would be tired on no sleep. That kind of confirms that he was planning on having no sleep due to a night of sex. My husband came back at 6 a.m. when he knew the guy would definitely be gone. Have I been to the police? No. I can't be bothered with the hassle. Did we have the surprise MFFFS I'd arranged for him? Hell no. On to the update. I left the day I made the post. It dawned on me I needed to. I actually went to Sabrina's house for the night and got drunk with her, as she's the only person I could think of who he wouldn't know how to contact or find. I booked an Airbnb for the next week miles away. While there, my friend who is a letting agent sorted out a flat for me that I could move into pretty quickly. I transferred the deposit and first month's rent over. And when I was back, I signed the contract and moved in, sleeping on an airbed and having nothing there for a few days, but now it's nice and cozy. I left my husband a note saying I want a divorce and not to contact me. He hasn't really, apart from asking me essentials about the house. I have spoken to a lawyer but haven't started anything yet, as paying out for my flat has left me a bit poor, but I will do in the next couple of weeks. I've seen him once drive past in the car while I was on the bus. I'll be honest, I didn't feel anything. No love, no anger, no hatred, just emptiness. So that's the update. Nothing really salacious or interesting, I'm afraid. And I just want to thank everyone again for their support. I left him